Hi, and welcome to this section on Azure Management. In the previous section, we looked at Windows management using PowerShell. In this section, we will get you started using PowerShell for managing Azure. Specifically, we will set up the local environment, and we will set up a virtual machine. And we will also set up a web application with scaling and application slots as examples of useful tasks. Now we move on to the first video of this section that deals with setting up the local environment. Here you will learn how to get started by installing the necessary software modules for managing Azure. In this video, we are going to take a look at which PowerShell modules we need to manage Azure using the Azure Resource Manager. We will log into Azure Active Directory and select an Azure subscription to use. And we will also install and prepare the Azure CLI for use in later sections. There are basically two sets of PowerShell commandlets available for managing Azure resources, one for the classic deployment model and one for the Resource Manager model. In this course, we will exclusively work with the latter, and modules and the commandlets for this model is often denoted with Azure ORM in the name. So let's search for modules containing Azure Resource Manager commands. I'm going to list those available. Azure ORM star. And as we can see, there are none installed here. I'm working on a pristine Windows 10 installation, so there is none installed out of the box. So let's search for them in the PowerShell gallery. Now, as you can see, there are a few modules there. But if we scroll up here, we can see that there is one simply named Azure ORM. And this is simply a module that contains references to the more task-specific Azure Resource Manager modules, like storage and backup and compute and so on. So if we install the Azure ORM module, it will also pull down the other modules. Let's do that. I'll install it in the current user scope. Now this is going to take a while, but first let's agree. And there we go. Now let's see what we have available. And there we are. They are downloaded. Okay. So let's try and log into Azure. And to do that, we have to import the module called Azure ORM Profile. There we have login Azure ORM account command. No, I don't think so. So I'm going to use my Microsoft account. And there we go. I can now list the available subscriptions for this account. In fact, for this course, I will be using this specific subscription, and to select it I use select Azure ORM subscription, give it the subscription ID, and I'm all set. Now, even though this is a course in PowerShell, I will also show you an alternative to using the PowerShell commandlets, and that's using the Azure CLI. Let's have a look at it. Let's fire up Microsoft Edge. Now here's the manual page for installing the Azure CLI. Let's scroll down to Windows. Not the bash one, but the one for Windows command line will do. So basically the Azure CLI is written in Python, so we need Python installed. There are many ways to do that, but I recommend using a package manager. I use the package manager Scoop to install it, but you can use any way you like. This will take a while. Okay, it's done. So let's verify that Python is in fact ready. And it seems to be. So now we can go ahead and use the Python package manager to install the Azure CLI. The package manager is named pip. Install. I want to install it under the user's profile. And the package name that I want is the Azure-CLI. So there we go. Let's clear the screen. And the CLI commands always start with AZ. So let's see if it's available. Oh, no, not yet. What we're actually missing here is probably that the scripts directory for the Python user is not included in the execution path. So first, let's find the location of the scripts. So let's store that in a parameter. P should be under the user's directory. Okay, let's store that in a string. Let's have a look. Oh, good. There's our AZ command. Now let's include that in the path. So first, let's read the existing path from the system. No, tell you what. Let's first just add this to the current environment path. Add prefix with a semicolon. Add p. And now the command should be available. But before moving on, let's make this a permanent change. So first let's read the existing path for the current user, not the machine path, but only the current user. Get environment variable path for the current user. It will look like this, right? And now let's push that back with a new script path added to it. Environment set environment variable path, and we're going to set it to the existing path semicolon our new path, and set it for the current user, not for the machine. And there it should be permanent from now on. Okay, so the first thing that we can do then is to log the CLI into Azure Active Directory. And the command for that is AZ login. Now the user interaction needed to log in here is a bit different from the one that we saw with the PowerShell commandlet. So mind you that the Azure CLI is a platform-independent system written in Python instead of .NET, which is the case for PowerShell. So in this case, we need to open the browser and to continue the login. So let's go back to Edge, open up a new tab, hit the link, and here there's code that it asks us to enter, and it's this one over here. Let's enter it. Continue, and again I need to log in with my Windows Live account or Microsoft account. So now if we head back to the CLI, it's now logged in. And also here we can see it lists all the subscriptions available. Let's try and format that a little bit prettier. We can write AZ account list and then output it as a table instead of a JSON structure. So here we go. Like I did before, let's select a subscription. The command for that here is AZ account set subscription. Actually, it needs the subscription name, I think, but let's try this one. Oh, it worked well. So with that, the Azure CLI is ready to go. We will use this in a later video.